I think what makes F9 special um, is that this character that was a bandit, that was a bandolero, that was an outlaw, is now a father, um, is a very uh, interesting and engaging concept. We try to take themes in this saga that are important to us and we feel are important to the world and explore those themes. And that was really the objective, um, to continue from Fate of the Furious into this next chapter. And in this next chapter, although the um, overall theme is fatherhood, there are many interesting aspects of this storyline that are going to surprise the audience and unravel more of the identity of the characters that they feel they already know or they feel so familiar with. That's what's so fun about the evolution of the character, because it's something that we all can identify with. When we have children, the stakes are higher. When we have children, we have to care about the planet and the world and humanity in some way or another. And they see that everything he does, he has to consider um, the true source of his vulnerability, which is his child. That's the same in the wild. A lion is vulnerable because of its cub, and that's who Dom is. When I make Fast and Furious, there's not a moment that goes by that I don't think about my brother Pablo and the need for me to find a quiet place so I can have a hope of hearing his influence or hearing his advice, like I have grown accustomed to do over the last 2 decades. So when John Cena walked into my Dom shrine, uh, I said to him, to play a Toretto, you're going to have to be prepared to go to some dark places. And I believed him when he said, whatever it takes. And that day I posted on my Instagram, thank you, Pablo. I believe that when somebody um, is a part of this franchise, they're always a part of this franchise. And so it's very important for me to find ways and opportunities to revisit their characters and to allow their characters to play in the greater mythology. Aside from the fact that I just love Helen Mirren and I love working with her. And I feel very blessed and honored that I have the opportunity to work with her. And I did get my act together and I did put her in the movie. And I kept putting her, and I will continue to put her in the movie because um, I just love her so much. I feel so excited for the world to see the ninth chapter in the World Saga. And I truly, 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 truly mean it when I say, we hope to make you proud.
Mia's back. I'm so happy that she's back. Also, we're gonna have a really really kick-ass female character that just was raised by that she's kind of like Hannah, you know, that character that's like raised by special forces. So the guy, like, her father teaches her how to like do everything that it would take to protect yourself in a savage world. That's what Anna's character is. I think it's really, really cool backstory to her. I'm just excited about Natalie. She's definitely not you know, not your typical techie in this one. She has a lot more hands-on action, and I really like her cattiness. Her voice is really, I think, a lot more. It's a lot more dimensional. You get to really get to know. You really get to know Ramsey on this one, and so I'm excited about that. And we're pretty much even keel with females and guys compared to other features that we've done in the past. So I'm just super excited about letting the girls play. It's just fun to watch, and I feel so proud, like a mama or an auntie or something. It's like, yeah. I think she's incredibly surprised at how fatherhood has changed. But also, I think that there's a part of her that loved the old version of him. And although it's a natural instinct to be more protective and secular when you have a family that needs tender, loving care, like a baby, there is that element of like, hey, we gotta save the world. Like, what world is this kid gonna live in if you don't have, people out there fighting for it? I mean, when I sit back and I think about like how are we ever, if we do another one, gonna top that? Just as far as action goes, I mean, the things that happen in this film are just like, okay, wait a minute, this is a game changer for sure. Yeah, that's never been, no, nobody's ever seen that before, ever. I love Han. And you know what? At the end of the day, for somebody who's been brought back from the dead, I can say nothing but yes. you know? It does raise that eyebrow of like, how close are we to a sci-fi film where you have more than one character that had died, and now all of a sudden you realize that they weren't dead. How many times could you pull that off in a franchise and not lose your credibility? But then again, I'm like, have you seen our movies? The kind of ways that we defy physics and facts. Yeah, let's just say, I think that we're not we're not hiding the fact that a lot of the stuff is crazy. Um, but I think that a lot of people are gonna be happy. Justin's cool, man. He's got a lot that I think he's got a lot of skin in the game. 'Cause he's the one who was directing the franchise movie that took it to the next level. I mean, Fast Five was the defining factor for it was the line being pushed on what the franchise movies were going to be about in the future. And so being a part of that, and then being away from the franchise for as long as he had been for like two movies, I think he's coming back with some gusto. Um, and lots of love, for the characters that he created in three, and with knowledge of the franchise and love for the franchise. So and you can tell he's really not holding back when it comes to the action. It's on steroids. So yeah, I'm happy it's in the hands of somebody who cares.
When I found out I was coming back, I just, I talked to Justin about it, and I was like, I can't wait. Like, get me in there. And I also have Vin to thank in a major way because he definitely wanted to bring the family back together. And it's not that it felt great to be back. It just felt so odd to be gone. It felt like it didn't really make sense. So it's wonderful to be back. Our family's always been a mystery, where we came from, who our father is. And so to have those pieces filled in is also really interesting to me as an actor because it's like, oh, okay, that's where Dom's coming from. That's what the history is, and then you understand all the more what the importance is of their makeshift family that they've brought together. But yeah, adding the Jacob element is interesting because now we get to explore that because most of this movie, they're all fighting each other and trying to reconcile their past. And once that's done, it's like, okay, well, where do we go from here? Which, because they're two really strong forces. So what do we do with that? That'll be interesting to explore. And the other thing I love about this journey is I get to work with Michelle, which I hadn't really. I was always in scenes with Michelle. We were, we've always promoted things together, but we never really got to interact. And I adore her, and I adore how much she's grown over the last 20 years, how she keeps on evolving and changing, and she's so curious. So to be able to get to work with her, and she knows her stuff. Like, there's certain things, I've been in this business for so long, but I still take for granted, whereas she's like, okay, that lighting and that and this. Like, she's great to work with. I love her. A beat of the scene that I really enjoyed between Letty and Mia was when I call her on her stuff. Because it's always Letty calling everyone else on their stuff and being the truth teller. And in this, we kind of just got to explore what our relationship was, how we feel about where we are in our lives, why we're doing what we're doing, which you barely get to see. Mostly it's like action, 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 and then the regular boy-girl love relationship and not just friendships. But our friendship has lasted so long, and you have to, and the other thing I wanted to explore was, yes, I'm loyal to my brother, but I'm also really loyal to you because you're my girl and I'd do anything for you. So it's really fun to be able to bring that dynamic to life. I think Justin makes all the difference because I think Justin cares so much about story. He cares so much about character. I mean, he makes references from like 4, and sometimes I'm like, huh? But then I have to like look back and check like, what was he talking about? But I think the continuity of character, the evolution of the family, that matters so much to him, and so it has heart, and I think that's what the audience loves. I think when someone recognizes me or recognizes anyone else from the cast and they go, Mia, like it's like we're all connected. It's like we're all family because we have this history together. So this movie is imbued with that history, but it also like goes, it has so many elements. It goes where no one else has really gone before. So, but it's still a super grounded action movie with family at the very core, which I think Justin does beautifully.
It tells you the power of the audience because, after, Han was no longer in the franchise, there's this fervor, there was this need, and I think people really missed that character. And then, when we went to, Fast 8, that brought up a lot of questions from the fans. Why is Shaw now part of the family when he was responsible for the death of Han? So these are the things I think as an actor, as a fan, it's pretty exciting to see that this is truly like the people's movie. They in a way demanded for this character to come back, and thus I'm sitting here again, being able to play Han again. It's so rare in this and I think in any bit in any career, to be able to have shared journeys with people that you started with. You know, I think back to when we were first starting our careers. You know, both of us, you know, we didn't have any money. You know, we really, you know, didn't come from a family that was established in Hollywood. We just had this, you know, common dream of being storytellers. So, you know, knowing that Justin's going to come back and, you know, and guide, you know, the ship to, you know, the story that I think the audience will be very pleased with. You know, it's just one of those things that you at first you take for granted, and then you realize how rare it is. And, you know, I just feel very lucky that I get to, you know, share another movie with a friend. And, you know, those little things really, you know, start impacting me as I get older. So it's great to be here with a buddy. It wasn't like walking into a job. It was like coming to a family reunion. And everybody got a little better and a lot more mature. They're more comfortable in their skin. So I think people are going to see that in the film. You know, the camera doesn't lie. So, you know, when people ask me, is that friendship for real? I can say, you know, when I walked on that set, after I went home that day, I said, yeah, this is a real friendship. You know, these are real relationships that I know are sincere. I hadn't seen Bow Wow or Lucas since actually Tokyo Drift. Jason Tobin, who plays Earl, was in Better Luck Tomorrow, and, you know, we're old friends, and he actually ended up moving to Hong Kong, so, you know, I haven't seen him in a few years either. But, you know, how special is that? It's like, it made me realize that day when I saw them on set that, you know, this world, this Fast and Furious world is huge. It's expanding, and there are characters from, you know, the previous films that we can bring back that offer something unique to the whole group. And I know the fans are going to be excited to see them because it's you know, it's just what a great introduction and a great reunion again. So I hope they bring back more characters. I think that's what the fans want.
That's the one characteristic about John, like the fact that he didn't have to be humble, the fact that he didn't have to be, you know, grateful or thankful to be part of this, but it's just who he is, you know. And I think that really added to our collective group, just that kind of energy, where he's coming in, he wants to contribute, but he's also respecting the fact that, you know, we've been here, and that in a way really helped us integrate and challenge each other at the same time. There's a real reason why Mia had to be back, because Jacob, not only is he Dom's brother, but he's also Mia's brother. And so for her to be back, I'm personally, I'm really proud of her to see her growth. And you know, and I told her that, you know, when I told her she was coming back on this one, that I was going to really push her, not only emotionally, but also I was going to be throwing her into some, you know, action sequences that we'd never seen her do. What I enjoy about, you know, making Fast and Furious films is not really just the, you know, action. I think that's what people expect and it's fun, but I think the gem for me are the moments where, you know, you see, you know, Dom, you know, talking to little Brian, or Mia talking to Letty. You know, these moments to me is the heart and soul of our franchise. I think that, you know, action sequences are meaningless unless there is a connection, emotional connection we have with the characters who are in these sequences. It's actually been very poetic because in trying to do justice for Han, one of the most beloved characters in this franchise actually, you know, is alive. So again, I've never done it that way creatively, but I have to say I give, you know, the fans a lot of credit. I think being away and having that perspective and seeing the love for Han and seeing that they have a voice and that somehow it was put into this creative process and now that he's back, like he's back on screen, but you're gonna find out why. I think that's it's a collective. That's for the first time in my career. It was a collective process creatively. I wanted to make sure that, you know, what we were leading to, the brother fight between Dom and Jacob, that it was going to be able to do a sibling fight justice, you know. And so to start off, I didn't want it just to be two brothers looking at each other and fighting. So I just kept, you know, pushing and pushing, seeing what we can do. And the fight actually doesn't start as a fight. It starts as a chase. And so the chase, you know, I was hoping, you know, that the idea was to make it so that the audience can really kind of feel this kind of no holds barred, you know. And it leads to a point where Dom actually jumps from a roof, tackles Jacob into a window, breaks the table, and that's when the fight starts. So by the time it starts, the intensity is already, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10 is already at a 25. I think that if we were gonna bring and share with the audience, you know, the past, the scope of it, the emotions and the relationships and the development of our characters, it was. I felt like the best way in was to kind of play with this theme and explore this theme of the fact that at some point we all had to deal with our past in order to define our future.
Hi guys, it's Debbie, and here's today's Daily Fact. Big budget movies can invest in all the best stunt actors. But when the Fast and Furious franchise first started out, the drivers were actually hundreds of real-life, illegal street racers the director found by attending underground competitions. Who'd have imagined that? Remember to click below to subscribe, and if you like my t-shirt, you can get one yourself at the shop link in the description box below.